I was probably my late 20s before I ever had a consistent cycle.
So you were probably in your you said late 20s?
Mm-hmm.
Your late 20s before you even had like an actual month you ovulated.
Yeah, probably.
Is what it's like giving, is what it's sounding like.
The doctor was like, I don't know if this is what happened, but this is the only reason I have any way to describe why all your other labs are perfectly healthy. Everything with you is fine, but hormonally you're just like a 60-year-old woman.
Welcome back to the Wholehearted Journey. My name is Meredith Hudson, and today we have a very special guest, the one, the only, Bree. I don't know where I would be without Bree. And just like before we even like dive into this, I kind of want to give y'all just a funny thing about Bree.
Oh gosh.
She is the head coach for my team, and she's also the like sales operator, like overseer.
Just a few hats.
I really don't even know what to call it. The coaching, sales, like what's your job title? I can't remember.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Like the Get Fit With Mer program is pretty much Bree's. Okay, like she has just made it to where it operates efficiently, effectively, and successfully. Period. You know what? Period. Sounds. But I was watching a movie the other day. It's the new J-Lo movie.
This is my Me Too fault.
I sent it to Bree immediately, and I was like, dude, on this movie, the girl's like go-to girl, her personal assistant, whatever the situation was, she was pregnant, and she was like about to like give birth, and J-Lo was like, you need to like go home, like you're about to have a baby, just go home. And she was like, no. And J-Lo literally was asking her like, what is your game plan on like the baby? Like, when are you going to take maternity leave? And she goes, no, I'm going to pop the baby out and I'm going to come back the next day. And like, and I sent it to Bree. I sent that scene to Bree because that's literally Bree. She took 1 week off and then came back to work. And I was just like, and I know we're remote, but still, like, to be in the mental capacity to even like, and that was her first baby too. So today we're going to actually be covering a lot of really great things, a little bit about Bree. She is a personal trainer, of course, for my team, but has been in the fitness space and a personal trainer for over a decade now. She has an insane, like, mind-blowing journey that went from not having a period, but 2 to 3 times a year, really struggling hormonally and being told it was just because she's an athlete. But then after some testing, the doctors actually confirmed that she was going through menopause at the age of 22. Her story is a massive success story and also a huge reason why she is an amazing coach. So we're going to be diving deep into that because, of course, obviously, Bree does have a baby. She was able to naturally balance out her hormones and finally see success. She is super passionate about not just like hormone balancing and like everything, hormone health, but getting to the root cause of things, especially with like natural remedies. Yeah. And so we have a lot to dive into.
This might be a long one, y'all. Buckle up.
Bree, I first just want to say thank you for coming on here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous if I sounded.
I told her, I was like, it was funny because we were testing out the sound, and I was like, go ahead and speak real quick, Bree. And
I talk a little quieter than Meredith.
She's like yelling right now, you guys. Calm down. Calm down.
Simmer down.
No, that's like actually perfect. I keep that tone going. Okay. We're going to need that. But let's dive into your hormonal journey. I want to start with, what was it like before? What was the signs, the symptoms? Like, let's start before you maybe, I guess, knew that there was an issue, what that really truly looked like for you.
So I was always a thin athlete. I grew up in a household that really prioritized how much you ate, how much you moved. So I'm thankful for that. And I was the last person in my class to start. So I didn't have my cycle until I was in high school. And that, I feel like kids nowadays start so much sooner. So when I was in high school, that was kind of common. Like 7th to 9th grade was when everyone started. Mm-hmm. But then I always had, 2 or 3 times a year. It was never monthly. All my girlfriends were pretty consistent. And I was at a private school with khaki shorts, y'all. So if you didn't know when your cycle was coming, it was the worst all the way through high school. But they always just told me it's because you're a thin athlete. It's because you're so active. It won't regulate out. They really pushed and promoted birth control for me at that time. My mom was so against it.
Wow.
Yeah, she was definitely against it for whatever reasons on her own, would not let me do it. And looking back, I'm even more glad because that would have been 4 additional years of birth control. And so, yeah, it was just always off, always irregular, never had that. Got to high school, or excuse me, got to college and it was the same. But then at that point, you know it all. So I got on birth control. I went to my doctor, talked with them, got on birth control. It didn't really help. We were talking about this before as well, is if you're on birth control and you're getting a period, it's not actually a true cycle. I didn't know that. So I thought I was having a cycle every month for the first time in my life. And years later, I found out that wasn't. But every time I'd stop taking it, I'd go right back to it like 2 or 3 times a year.
Well, I'm going to stop you here. I've already so many questions. I'm literally like, wait. Like point 1, point 2, point 3. I first want to go to the birth control because I think everyone that just heard that probably is like, wait, can we go back to that? That's a little bit confusing. So what technically is it? If it's not a period, what technically is happening within the body that is like making it think that it is a period? Go through the whole.
So obviously I'm not a doctor, so take medical advice from your doctor. But
go ahead and listen to that part again.
But what I was told from my hormone specialist years later is it's created this synthetic feel of putting hormones into your body. So your body's not creating them. So a lot of people just take them the whole pack through. They never take that sugar pill week, right? And so they just think that they're preventing it. But you're not actually typically ovulating. You're not typically even going through a full cycle. So you can't have a true cycle where you're getting rid of everything if you never ovulated and your body prepared for a baby anyway. So it's really just like a placebo effect with those pills if you give yourself the opportunity to even hit that week, which so many of our friends didn't. They just took it consistently. They purposely wouldn't let it have that cycle week.
And like the dangers about that too is that your body essentially gets used to relaxing. And what I mean by that is like if your body is being forced to, again, be pushed into a quote unquote period, even though you're not ovulating, but be pushed through the cycles of a period, and to do it, it essentially becomes lazy or relaxed or comfortable. It's kind of like someone's feeding you every single day and you never have to cook.
You just put my feet up.
Like you literally just sit in there and be like, breakfast, madam. Lunch, madam. It's
like,
gonna say
the buttons.
yes. And so the longer your body, of course, is used to that behavior, as makes sense, it stops knowing how to do it for themselves or for itself. And so it's essentially when you get off birth control, it's actually mind-blowing that so many people get off birth control and their body kind of just gets right back to it, especially if they've been on it for like, I would say longer than 2 years. Like, I mean, 2 years after that, I feel like your body would be like, what? But when you do have underlining issues before that, obviously it makes things 20 times worse. Me and Brie are very similar in the sense that, I have PCOS, but before getting on birth control, I only had like 2 to 3 periods a year. So here we are, we're now on birth control. We're now like going through the motions. Were you alarmed, I guess, at all about the fact that your body wasn't going through the cycle? Or was it just kind of like, oh, well.
It was more an inconvenience. I mean, everybody told me that it was fine. It was normal. This was just to be expected. I always had like a low BMI. I always had a high muscle mass. I was always an athlete that did soccer and track. So I was in running sports. And so everyone just told me that's to be expected. So I never thought anything of it. And when I would have a cycle, it would be bad because I'm sure my body's like, what the heck is happening? So 2 or 3 times a year I was miserable. But I thought everybody's periods were bad. I had friends that didn't come to school one day a month, kind of thing. So I'm like, maybe this is just how it is. Thank gosh I don't have 12 of them a year, right? And that's what it was. But you hit exactly on it. Your body just becomes dependent. So they say it's only a small percentage, but I was actually someone that then over time, from 17 to like my early 20s of taking birth control, I would stop it for a little bit. I'd get back on. I'd stop it for a little bit because I wanted to see if they were doing it just to help, then it should help, right? It should, but then it would go back to normal. And I realized that my body had become dependent on it. So that's where I actually started to notice symptoms of something where my mom was in her 30s when she had me. So my mom was going through menopause when I was in my early 20s. And we were starting to have similar symptoms.
Wow.
That I was like, wait a second. My mom, not old, Mom, if you're listening. But, I'm like, I shouldn't be experiencing this in my early 20s. Yeah. I shouldn't be having these same things. When I was talking to my mom about a lot of this stuff, she was saying she was going through the same thing. And that's what kind of caught my attention of, okay, this isn't normal. Something's wrong.
Really? So you started like almost being in a mindset of, okay, this seems impossible, but why is what I'm going through so similar to what my mom is actively going through? And did you kind of have this like almost feeling like, what if this has happened to me? Or did that not even cross your mind like that it's even like possible?
It didn't even cross my mind that that was possible. And I probably went to, I'm not kidding, at least 10 different doctors who all told me, this was before hormone health was a big deal, right? Over the last decade, hormone health has definitely changed. Doctors wouldn't even do a blood draw to take my hormones.
Yeah.
And so it took me, I'm not exaggerating when I say 10 to 15 different doctors to find someone who would test me for PCOS, because that also wasn't rage. Like, that was not a big thing. And everyone just thought, oh, you're just tired. Oh, you're just overworked. You're just doing too much. You're just coming out of a season that you've been so physically active and then coming out of college into like adult life. And I'm like, no, I'm still working out the same. I'm still eating the same. I'm still sleeping. Like, nothing in my personal life has changed because I graduated college and started a job. You know, I was noticing things were changing. So I just kept going. This is a huge piece of where I'm like, you have to be an advocate for your own health. Like, you are the one who knows your body best. And so you have to tell your coach and your doctors. And if they're not listening, go find a different one. And I've always been that way. But that journey really emphasized that so much. Because then I finally found a doctor that pulled my labs and then told me my labs were way too low.
And before we go into that, let's first address, what were your symptoms? What were the most obvious? What were the ones that were kind of like, I don't know if this is just normal or not? Yeah. Give me all the signs and symptoms that you had.
So the one that was the red flag was hot flashes. I remember my mom joking about private summers. And I would wake up, I'm literally sitting with a blanket right now. I am cold all the time. And I was waking up sweating in the middle of the night. I was having to come home and like take a shower because I'd gotten so hot on my drive home. I could not figure out. So that was kind of my bigger eye-catching moment. But I was having, I'm pretty, if my brothers are watching this, they're going to laugh. But I'm pretty like even-tempered. I don't get flustered often. I don't get super bent out of shape. It takes a lot for that to happen. And I would get mad like if I dropped a pin. I mean, I would get like angry. Angry is not an emotion I really had. So like mood swings started kicking in. My hair started getting really, really thin. I've always had fine hair, but it started to get really thin. My skin broke out. I was covered. My whole chest, back, face was covered in like really severe cystic acne.
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't make it through the day without a nap. So being someone who had high energy, always high intensity lifestyle, go, 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 to now I came home from work and wanted to get in bed. Like, there was just things that, those didn't all happen at the same time, but slowly, all of a sudden I'm realizing something's wrong. And I'm like, do I have an autoimmune? Do I have some kind of, hormones didn't even cross my mind. I was thinking autoimmunes were all the rave back then. I feel like they still are, but in a different sense. They were kind of the forefront. So I was thinking like, do I have lupus or Hashimoto's or something where my body's attacking itself? And that would make sense with the energy and the hair and the skin and all of that.
Or thyroid. I feel like thyroid was so quick to be like, yep, you've got a thyroid issue, which is almost still, I feel like, impossible to get tested and true answers for. And it's like, you're in a normal range. Girl, Steven's cousin actually had always been in a normal range for her hormones or for her thyroid and ended up having thyroid cancer. And it's just like, wow.
If you're someone who keeps track, or even if you're not, start doing this. I had a Google Excel sheet, which will not surprise you at all about me.
That's why I love you.
But I would literally write down the date, write all the labs that were taken, and how I felt. Because say the range is 50 to 400, and I'm 55, but my optimal might be 300. Right, so I would always write all that down. I always kept at the bottom like a description of, am I sleeping well? How much my energy? How's my appetite? So over literally 5 years of my journey, I have all these notes of, okay, here's my optimal for each of these labs now. But no one told me to do that. I just started, that's just how my brain works. So I just started keeping track of, is it my thyroid? Is it, and you can dive in, like so many of your primary cares will just do the basic tests. And so once I started going to holistic doctors and really getting an underlying theme of, okay, yeah, you can test this, but you can also test 5 more things to show you, you know.
Wow. No wonder why you're a freaking good coach too. Because like you literally, that's like such a strong method like within us, like coaching is being like, all right,
write it down.
Some things are not mathing. Like math isn't mathing. You shouldn't feel this way. And I literally sent this message to another girl like yesterday. Like you were pouring into yourself and your health in ways that are so above and beyond, but yet your symptoms of like the way that your bowel movements are and your energy and these certain things are indicating that there is an underlying thing going on, whether that be within, more likely I was thinking gut. So like I'm telling you, I need you to go get your gut checked, but it could be hormonal, could be this or whatever. And it's like your body will always tell you things. So it feels like you're doing so many of the right things and your body's fighting against you. Like, listen to it, because that's how our bodies are designed. It will literally tell you exactly what you need to know. If you're getting crappy sleep, but yet you're very active and you're tracking your calories and macros and you're doing this, more likely you maybe are not eating enough calories.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that like now we know after going through our own personal journeys, but just as coaches in general, it's like we can literally look at one symptom and be like, yep, I know how to fix that. And so it is such a crazy thing. The most horrific thing to go through is something like what we're talking about here within your own journey, but how life-changing is it? Because not only has it changed your life and brought you the most incredible gift of all, but like it also has helped thousands. You have coached thousands of people, just even with me in my program, but thousands of women. And that had so many success stories with pregnancies and starting a family, but also like your children. Yeah. Like think about, if you don't have a girl, but your son, and maybe she's going through something hormonal. It's like a ripple effect that just continues on, and it's just a gift over a gift over a gift. So your struggles will be used as your testimony. Your testimony changes lives. Yeah. So let's dive into who did you actually go to? Like what kind of doctor did you go see and what kind of testing did you get done to finally actually get answers?
Yeah, so I went to a pretty well-known holistic, I was told was a holistic healthcare provider, and I was just butting my head up against a wall. If you know me, you know this, but I want to find out what's causing this, how do I fix it, rather than what can I take to like put a Band-Aid on it. And I had a lot of doctors that were offering, let me help you figure this out, let me help you find this, and then we'll just give you another birth control, or we'll give you something to help with the symptoms, right? So I actually went up to UT Southwestern in Dallas, and they wanted to check if I had PCOS, because that was not a huge thing. And so my doctor referred me up there for a specialist, where they did all the ultrasounds and everything to find I don't have any cysts. Everything looks like it should physically. I don't know why it's not working. And that doctor is the one who then told my doctor here, you need to pull a full hormone lab, because physically everything looks fine. It should be working great. Why isn't it working?
So wait, were they saying that you were actually ovulating? Because the thing with PCOS or cysts on your ovaries, and again, I'm not a doctor either. This is all from my own personal journey and going to doctors too, is that basically your body is trying to ovulate and it's going through the motions, but then it gets stuck in that follicular phase that then creates, or that causes, like your body releases. Yeah. And then it gets stuck into the follicular phase, which creates the cysts on your ovaries. So it's like your body's still trying. It's just not successfully going through all the phases. So was your body just not even attempting to ovulate at all?
Yeah, and the only explanation they gave me is because I took the birth control for so long, my body just got dependent that I was giving it hormones, so it just quit making any.
Wow.
That was the only explanation I ever received, and that's total. The doctor was like, I don't know if this is what happened, but this is the only reason I have any way to describe why all your other labs are perfectly healthy. Everything with you is fine, but hormonally you're just like a 60-year-old woman.
But you were even having consistent periods before. No. So it's just like your body has had an issue. Yeah. From the beginning.
Because I don't think I ever had. Yeah, I was probably my late 20s before I ever had a consistent cycle.
So you were probably in your you said late 20s? Mm-hmm. Your late 20s before you even had like an actual month you ovulated.
Yeah, probably.
Is what it's like giving, is what it's sounding like.
It was like, I'm trying.
Yeah, it's like a...
Yeah, exactly.
That's freaking crazy. So when did you start your period? Like what age were you?
So I was a freshman in high school, so 13?
I was a freshman in high school too when I started my period.
Yeah. I was the very last one. I remember like taking stuff to school as if I had started because everybody else had started, and I was like so embarrassed that I hadn't started. So I had pads and stuff in my locker that I literally never used because everyone started in 7th and 8th grade.
I know. I wonder
wanted
if
people to
that's
think
like
I
a.
had.
I'm gonna start asking people that. Be like, if
Yeah.
they have like a
Late
hormonal
bloomer.
imbalance, I'm gonna be like, what? How old were you when you started your period? Like, I
Yeah.
wonder if there's like a connection there because my mother started hers in 3rd grade. What about yours?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to ask her.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
don't know? Yeah, my mom
I know
started
she
in 3rd
has
grade.
hormone imbalances too. Because she has endometriosis. So, but she didn't have PCOS. So she was helpful on this journey. Like, oh, let's go talk to someone else. Oh, let's go talk to someone else. You know.
I was wondering because I mean, back when you were going through all this, like hormones and going to the doctor and testing and something being wrong or having any remotely like diagnosis, like with anything, was like non-existent.
Yeah.
It felt like I know for me. So my mom has always had a consistent period, heavy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry,
TMI. Little flop out like the. I was gonna say something. I'm just not gonna say. But anyways, but consistent.
Yeah.
Every single month her whole life. So it was weird for her, but she didn't even. I don't think she ever thought, oh, there's something wrong. She just thought, well, maybe some people just struggle to have it every month. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't ever anything that was like too alarming.
And I don't think people talked about it.
Yes.
Like they talk about it now. And I think there's certain parts of health that are just have a stigma, you know. And I think fertility has always been one of those things. I mean, even back to like old days. If you couldn't have a baby, that was, oh, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we're getting the testing done. What all testing did you get done?
Yeah, so I could have brought it for you.
I love that actually.
Well, honestly, they first just tested my thyroid first. They tested for autoimmune markers, thinking that maybe there was some inflammation or something going on. That would be the easiest thing. And I don't know how many tests I went. And I just was at this point literally praying, please find something wrong. Like I just want something to be wrong because then we'll know what to do. If I keep coming back, all your labs look great. We'll see you in 4 to 6 months. All your labs look great. We'll see you in 4 to 6 months. I'm like, okay, year after year, I'm not getting any answers and I'm feeling worse and worse and worse. And so they tested like the standard, you know, blood pressure, blood sugars, all that kind of stuff. Diabetes runs in my family. And so they were checking for any kind of autoimmune, any kind of blood sugar related issues.
Maybe say if you're like type 1 diabetic because you're,
okay. But all of it just kept coming back. Nope, perfectly healthy. Nope, right in range. Who knows in range now looking back? I'm like, who knows if there was a key indicator. But when I went up to UT Southwestern and then they asked for the hormone panel, that's what changed because then it came back very clear. I didn't have hardly any. They compared me to a 60 or 70-year-old woman.
And it was blood work? Mm-hmm. It was all blood work. So you didn't do any urine tests? I don't even know the Dutch test was probably even a thing then.
And I don't remember like a couple years into it, then you did where you like spit in the tube and mail it off. You know, that came like a couple years later. But at the beginning it was all, and now they want me to get tested at a certain point in my cycle. Where back then, I was just like, well, I don't know where I am in my cycle. Yeah. Like, here's my blood, you know?
And that is a huge thing that doctors still do. Luckily, I'm seeing a lot more changes where they are basing their blood work off of where you're at in your cycle because that is there's a massive difference.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's probably why there's so many inaccurate scans of, oh, everything looks good.
Yeah.
But what would you recommend now, you know, for someone going through this journey? I always say Dutch test and the GI map because your gut plays such a big role in your hormones.
At that time, the doctor also had me go dairy and gluten-free, which was hard. Now there are so many substitutes for dairy and gluten-free. Back then, on a fresh out of college budget, trying to be dairy-free and gluten-free, when all my friends are going out, all my friends are drinking, all my friends are doing all of this, and now I've been told, okay, you can't do this, you can't do that. You need to cook all your meals at home, you know. So I would for sure recommend some kind of gut testing and some kind of hormone testing far beyond just the basics of where's your estrogen, there's multiple kinds and levels of each of them. And if something's normal, know that those ranges are massive.
Yes.
So it does not necessarily mean that that's your normal.
And I will also say that as time goes on, I don't know how 100% accurate this is. This is something that I was also told by a doctor, so I do believe it's true. Yeah. But again, haven't looked super deep into it. But as time goes on and as our health as a whole in America gets worse, these percentages of, oh, everything's in range is coming off of the American average.
Which changes.
Yes. So as we become unhealthier as a country, the norms and the ranges also get worse and worse. Like if you were to look at what is healthy or considered healthy, like what, 20 years ago? It where our healthy range is now is probably where it was like super in the red 20 years ago. And that is never discussed. And I explain that to my clients all the time. It's like, I'm telling you, if you're on the edge, if you're kind of like close, I'm telling you, that's the red. It's more than likely the red. It depends on certain situations or certain, whatever, like testing, but it's like.
And you don't have to have, a lot of people think you have to go to a holistic doctor who's going to give you herbs and supplements. You do not have to do that. You don't have to go to a DO or a chiropractor. A lot of pharmacists do counseling on this, where you just go to your primary care, you get them to pull. Now you can do all those things that they just do them at home. They send you those little things that clip into your arm and they take your blood, you mail it off, and you've got all your results right there. AI is who goes through it on most of those platforms, which use at your own discretion. But you could always find doctors that will consult you on that.
Everyone can afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to disclose how much money maybe it costs for you?
None of it was covered by insurance. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
All of this was
How much
cash pay.
money do you think you paid?
Oh, probably close. Over the 4 or 5 years I did it, easily could have bought a brand new SUV now, probably.
Wow.
But I mean, I was in a position that my parents were able to help. I was really blessed in that way, that I wasn't only doing this by myself. I also made a ton of sacrifices where if you're not eating dairy and you're not eating gluten and you're not drinking alcohol, you're going to save a lot of money in that season of life if you're not eating out, you're not going out. And that was probably helpful also for my health, that I wasn't doing all those things. But if you're not doing the ice cream runs and you're not doing the late night happy hour, or the happy hours that turn into late nights, you do save a chunk of money.
Oh yeah, it's just like before my journey, I calculated how much money on average I probably spent on food, like fast food and alcohol, and it was like bare minimum, like on a low cost month, $800.
Easy.
And that is what's insane to me, because I struggled so much financially. Like I was in the midst of like suffering because of how bad I struggled financially, but yet I still spent money on alcohol. I still spent money on cigarettes. I still spent money on fast food. And I didn't calculate my cigarette money. And so this is so crazy saying out loud. Like, I'm just like, wow, it's so different, but like how much money, this was just alcohol, on average. And then of course, fast food. And yeah, it was like bare minimum $800. High month was probably like $2,000. And so like $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah.
Just want to be clear. Not $15,000. That's a lot.
I went and got a second job because I was like, I need a way. I can't.
Wow.
This is not being covered by insurance. And I had insurance through my job. And since I was under 26, I was still on my mom and dad's insurance. So I had 2 insurances and neither one of them covered any of this care. Mm-hmm. And I just went and got another job so I could figure out how to pay for it. Because I'm like, it's not going to get better on its own. Yeah. If this is how it's been, it's not going to get better. And if you're going through menopause at 22, realistically, what are my 40s going to look like? What are my 50s, 60s?
Yeah, and if you didn't invest in your health in this way, which is hard, trust me, I know it's hard spending the money, the time and effort and energy, and also the trust when it comes to people that you're having to go and do all this with. It's a lot, but it's just like what you said, like it completely has changed your every single day of your life and your future in ways that you can't put a dollar tag on, like in any way, like every second that of every day, like you could be in a position where you don't have your child or you weren't able. And again, infertility journeys, they're so much bigger. It's a huge thing. This isn't just like, oh, this is going to be the problem that solves everyone's infertility journey, right? Which is heartbreaking in itself. But you were able to successfully have, child. Never thought you would be able to have that. You are literally so full of energy that you can handle the most stressful weeks that I've ever seen anyone be. And just like smiling. You are just like glowing from the inside out. And it's just like you are not at war every single day with your body.
I think that was the hardest part, of truly feeling like my body was against me. And just know, and you and I've heard you talk about this time and time again, but knowing I'm doing everything I think I should, and it's still not working. And everyone's telling you, oh, college is the best time of your life. And that was the worst of my health. And so to think like I was making it through and I was masking and I was showing up, but all I wanted to do was sleep. And all I wanted to, life has gotten exponentially better because I invested. And so just think if that had been the best of it, man, that would have been a really sad now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just beautiful the way that you advocated for your health, the way that you intentionally dug so deep when no one else was like concerned or worried or kept telling you everything's normal. Like to be in that mindset that's so like, I'm listening to what my heart's telling me. I'm listening to what my body's telling me. Something's not right. And just advocating for yourself, pushing for yourself, going above and beyond to financially like do this for yourself too. It's just incredible. Like especially with zero knowledge back then, we didn't have social media either to watch other people's testimony, like in the way it is now, to watch other people's testimonies.
If I'd had something like this to listen to and had hope that I was, there's another girl like me, that would have been so helpful.
Yeah, that's why even
if it didn't work, even if it didn't work, just having hope that, okay, this isn't a forever. This could turn around kind of thing.
So let's talk about the turnaround, all right? We go through, let's talk about what you did actually.
Okay.
On the transitional, like you finally got some answers back. There's some things going on. Now, what's the next move? What did you do?
So I opted to do a certain amount of like hormone replacement therapy, which I was really honest. I didn't want to do any pelleting or injections, anything like that would create potentially the same thing that the birth control did. If I'm giving my body an extra big dose of something, why wouldn't it do what it's always done and just kick back because something else is taking care of it, right? So I did really low doses of the hormone creams. You'd rub on your arms and you'd rub it in between your legs. Like I had to always remember, where did I put it? Which limb did I put it on last night? And I remember doing that for years, and I would go get tested every like 2 to 4 months, just depending on which hormone they were tracking. And I never did more than 2 hormones at a time because they wanted to make sure that it was all like actually absorbing and getting in.
Wow.
And they told me this is going to be the slower part of the journey. But I remember having that really honest conversation with my doctor of, I'm in my early 20s. If I start doing like long-term fixes now, it'll be worth it. Because a lot of those hormone replacement therapies you can't do while pregnant. You can't do while breastfeeding. So, if that day ever were to come and I just have to cold turkey stop, what's my body going to do then? So I changed my diet. I changed the workouts I was doing. I changed jobs. I changed anything that was causing stress, not letting me sleep, it was a whole lifestyle change that a lot of people didn't understand and kind of thought I was crazy for, but it's totally worked out in the long run.
But now it's like, obviously, just like anything. Anytime someone thinks you're insane, like give it 5 years and it's like, see, told you, you know what I'm saying? But like, you also talked about how your doctor wanted you to go, you said gluten and dairy free. Yeah. Was that because your inflammatory markers were high?
Yeah, she thought if one of those might be disrupting my gut, and if she could help balance my gut, then it would help. But I was always someone that like maybe TMI, I went to the bathroom every day, like never had any issues there. So she was glad, but that was also another kind of like red flag of like, okay, this system's working, so why isn't it helping?
See, and that's what we tell our clients too, is that there's a lot of doctors who will, just essentially, and this is no shade to this doctor in any way, obviously. I think that people are just trying to get someone relief really quickly.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times it's going to be coming down to inflammatory markers, probably driven by nutrition and sensitivities, or it's going to be driven by blood sugar that, again, is going to be coming down from your nutrition and so forth and sensitivity. So with that, a lot of people are sensitive to gluten. Yeah. A lot of people are sensitive to dairy. Like I'm very sensitive to dairy, but not gluten. But so when you go to a doctor and they're like, oh, X, Y, and Z is up, like maybe you have your inflammatory markers seem a little up. A lot of times they're going to be like, you probably need to go 100% gluten-free, 100% dairy-free, or you need to eat low carb. Essentially, low carb is basically just a doctor telling you, for the most part, telling you gluten and sugar. Yeah. Which, if you go gluten-free and you track your sugar intake, you can eat high carb. Because guess what? High carb is high fiber. High carb is actually regulating your blood
Yes.
sugar. High carb is essential for your cycle.
Yes.
So I never recommend a low carb diet. I had a client actually yesterday talking about how she needed to go low carb for a doctor, and I was like, hey, we are going to probably have to drop you on the nutrition side of things because it goes against what we know, because we know exactly why they want you to go low carb, but you do need to listen to whatever your doctor's telling you. And again, it's your decision.
Yeah. Ultimately.
But we just know the like Band-Aid method of, and this is, again, no shade to doctors whatsoever, because a lot of times it is driven from certain things like sugar intake. It's so easy to eat 80 to 100 grams of sugar and above in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Which is insane.
Especially
That's
if
like
you're
a week.
a highly processed diet. You can get that in a meal.
Yeah, you, what was it? One pina colada, this still blows my mind. One pina colada was 80 grams of sugar.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
A root beer was what, 60 grams of sugar? I'm just like, so.
Talk about a root beer float you used to down all the time as a kid.
A root beer float, girl, you're going to be at 300 grams of sugar a day. And that's just crazy. And it's like, it's so easy to consume. You look at yogurt, flavored yogurt. You think you're eating like, and it's not that you think you're eating, you can have flavored yogurt, my goodness. But like, some people who are insulin resistant probably do need to look at their yogurt and be like, is my flavored yogurt that I'm just eating for a little snackaroonie have 17 grams of sugar in it?
Just buy a different brand. Like, it's amazing. Learn real talk for all of you. Flip it over and look at the nutrition facts. Like when you're buying something like pasta, anything dairy, anything that's going to have gluten or dairy typically, just flip over those labels and look at them and just compare them. Even if you know nothing about nutrition, find something that's got the least amount of ingredients, the highest number of protein, and the lowest number of sugar. Just start there. Just start there.
That is so fire. Let's freaking go. That's the type of advice.
Keep it simple.
That's literally the life-changing advice, because I didn't even know what a carbohydrate meant on the back of a nutrition label when I started my fitness journey. So thinking about like looking at a nutrition label and comparing, you can still be lost, but that is such solid advice.
It's easy. Well, and that's where I think remember that your doctors, unless they've gone above and beyond and have certifications, have no nutritional knowledge. So like my bachelor's in nutrition, I don't know how many times I would be having a conversation with my doctor and thinking in my head, I know more than they do here. Like this is not their area, so I'm not going to ask them nutritional questions. Yeah, and they don't know it.
It is a bit unfair to expect a doctor to do that, because doctors practice medicine. But we've always been like, just I think in general, people are always like, doctors are supposed to know everything. Doctors are supposed to help me with X, Y, and Z, and it's like, no, they were never trained in that. It's just kind of like they're good at what they were trained in, and that's medication and knowing how to just like
find the problem and fix it.
Yeah, find one problem. If you have high blood sugar, okay, here's a high blood pressure medication to put on. They're not going to go to the root cause of things, which is why there's other outlets like naturopaths and functional medicine doctors, or even fitness coaches who specialize in that area, you know, and take the holistic route like me and Bree do, and within the Get Fit With Mer program. And so, like, again, it's hard. Yeah. It is hard.
You have to be an advocate for sure. And just keeping it simple. I think that was what I learned in my journey of, okay, eat real food, exercise, but don't overdo it. You know, there were lots of seasons. I had come from playing sports my whole life, and my weight fluctuated a ton in my hormone journey where it dipped a lot. And that sounds like a great problem unless you're already a thin person. And there were lots of alarming seasons that my BMI was getting so low, and I'm eating 2,000 plus calories a day. And so I'd have to completely quit working out. I had to stop going on my daily walks. I had to stop doing, because that's not what I needed in that season. So like listening to your body and really honing in. So when someone asks like, what did you do? I'm like, at what stage? You know, like this was like literally a 3 to 5 year journey before my cycle came back regularly. Wow. And most people won't commit that much time. It's the sad reality. Most people want it in 3 months. I need to lose this amount of weight for this event. I need to make sure I'm feeling better by this day. You know, it's not a lifetime at all, which is where the doctors told me, like, we can give you these medications and you'll walk out of here feeling better in a couple days. Or you can change your diet, you can change your lifestyle, and we'll see you in 6 months to see how it's working.
So just to make sure, for you, it was more of slowing down, doing less. Yeah. Having ultimately, because the physical, maybe even mental stress was also playing a role in, of course, your cortisol levels and affecting your body, which was probably your what was creating the inflammation in your
lo and
body.
behold, I didn't have any issues with gluten or dairy.
So her problem was never a nutritional issue. It was a cortisol issue, which is very freaking common, and why you see
especially
a lot of athletes.
Yep.
You see a lot of people who are just working maybe multiple jobs, or like just are maybe a little bit off the rockers on their sleep and their routine, and just like people maybe with OCD, like it's just like high cortisol. When you live in a high cortisol state, you become like just used to it.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize that you're under stress. You don't feel stress when you usually have
because your vibration is always here. So you don't realize you're at a 9 right now. You don't even know what a 2 feels like.
I literally prayed for you yesterday when I was doing my prayer. I was like, Lord, breathe. I know she's so about your cortisol levels, because I was like, I know you have to live in a high cortisol state because you just float on
my Aura ring always just telling me, girl, you were stressed today.
You just like float on a cloud, and everyone's like, Bree, she just handles everything so good, but really Bree's up there in a thunderstorm. She's like, but everyone's like, look at her just flying on the cloud, just enjoying it. Because like you just handle so much, and you know how to but you're kind of like my mom.
Yeah.
And it's such a great thing to be, honestly, to just be a total boss like that. To like go through the storm and just be like, oh, it's good. But I think a lot of people live in that state where it's like, man, so stress was your inflammatory marker. And it wasn't nutrition. You're lean, you're healthy, you're doing all these like active things, but it was doing too much of those things sometimes that were causing this. Yeah. Which was also kind of like mine too. Yeah. And working out 6 days a week was not healthy for me.
Same. Yeah, I've talked to so many of my clients, and if you're one of my girls that's heard this, you're gonna laugh. But sometimes working out that much, I'm gonna tell you, quit doing the high intensity workouts, quit lifting that much. Do a yoga or Pilates class. Go for a walk. Oh, you want to move today? Go take your kid on I walked 1.5 miles yesterday. It took us 45 minutes with my son. Mm-hmm. That's the best workout I needed for that day. You know, those kinds of things you need from time to time. I was so in my athlete mind of, I have to be hitting a PR all this time, or I have to be doing XYZ. The intensity has to be here for every workout, otherwise it doesn't count, kind of thing. Like, I can't ever have a day with less than 10,000 steps, you know, and that is not how women's bodies operate, especially women that are in high cortisol states.
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't be, and that's the hardest thing to tell a woman that's struggling, especially with her weight and that's wanting to lose weight. It's like, hey, I'm telling you right now, I need you to get out of that mindset of trying to work out. I love the fact that you're on it, but I need you to work out maybe 3-4 days a week, or weight train 3 days a week, and then maybe find slower, low intensity movement like walking.
Yes.
Maybe just like doing Pilates, like a reformer classical Pilates, whatever. Like something that's like not so much on your body, which is what I do. 4 days a week of weight training. Now it was 3 days a week when I was like balancing everything out, but 4 days a week of weight training, 2 days of Pilates. And so I can't ever go back to 6 days of weight training because it rises inflammation in the body. It puts too much stress on my body, physical stress, that then creates inflammatory markers to also go up, that then affects everything else in my body. And so it's the same thing with you here. Your body having the high cortisol, creating that inflammatory, and just like what we say, the 3 pillars is inflammation, cortisol, and blood sugar. Yeah. And so let's go from talking about that. We are now in this place of like slowing down, calming your nervous system, calming your body. What do you feel like helped you the most outside of like slowing down movement wise? Was it mainly just the active like lifestyle, or do you feel like anything else helped you with like managing your stress and lowering that cortisol?
Yeah, so I started doing, I used to call it my pup and podcast walk, and I would get up every morning, I would listen to a devotional or a podcast of some sort while I walked my dogs. And that was like my time. My phone was on D&D. Sorry if you needed me. Like, that was my time. And that replaced my workouts for a long time. And I felt so lazy doing that, but I knew this is what my body needs. And once I come to accept this, so finding other ways. I've always been someone that when I had a bad day, I was going for a run. When I had a bad day, I was going to the gym. And that is like mind blowing to so many people. They think I would never be that person. But when you are that person, and then someone tells you you have to stop and you have to do less, you've got a lot of time to fill. And if you're a high performing type A person, you're not just going to sit back and watch Netflix. Like, that gave me more anxiety. They actually have research on that now, showing a type A person sitting and trying to rest can cause more anxiety for them than actually just letting them do a task. And so coming to terms of like finding a devotion I really liked, finding something that I got to listen to music while I did, something that would kind of distract me while I did something low intensity, or I'm just not a homebody, but like staying home. I used to take tons and tons of trips, and like just learning to exist was really difficult.
Wow. That's crazy. But now looking back, are you like, I'm so glad that was my solution?
Oh yeah. Because it's so much easier to, I mean, it sounds silly now, but it's so much easier. I remember being really pissed off at my doctor when they told me I had to start doing less. I remember thinking they were crazy. And so when I tell clients that, I'm like, listen, you're going to listen to this audio message from me and you're probably going to be pissed. You're probably not going to finish it. And that's okay. Come back. Because I remember feeling the exact same way, but this is what works. And I'm going to tell you this time and time again. You have to slow down.
We're meant to be in stillness. We're not meant to be, it's not supposed to be one extreme or the other. You're not meant to be lazy and be too still.
Yeah.
But you're also not supposed to live constantly every single day grinding and doing and being and hustling. Like, and I've been on both sides of those. And then finally I found that middle ground forcefully through my PCOS journey. And kind of like, you know, with your journey like, too here, it's like pull it back and be in stillness, but still just have a healthy balance of doing. And
still be productive.
Yes. Like you lose sight of what is actually healthy for a while there. And so being in still, this is like totally the most life-changing thing ever. It's nice. And then once you get used to it. Yeah. So I'm
I'm guilty. Glad. Like you're probably the same. Like I still fall back into those habits. And usually it's my husband that's like, you've been burning the candle at both ends. You've had late nights, early mornings. Like you need to sit. And I hate it when he says it, but it's always the perfect reminder of, okay, you're going to get back to where you were if you don't take care of yourself. Maybe. Coaches need coaches too, let me tell you.
Yes, definitely. I know I've like literally been leaving my coach on red for like 3 weeks now. I'm just like,
I hear you, but
we all literally coach each other in my program. So all of the assistant coaches, like one assistant coach has another coach, and another coach has another coach, and so we're all intertwined. So my coach is being coached by Bree right now. And so we have this like thing, and then I'm coaching Shannon, and listen, sorry Shannon, girl, where are you? I literally have not heard from you in like 2 months. It's so funny because with us as coaches, with our clients, we're like,
oh, wait, Johnny on the spot.
So Jennifer missed her check-in last week, and then like sometimes they just goes, but life gets busy, and we're just like, what is happening? And then we'll finally then we're in the position of a client. We're like, oh,
I get it.
Oh,
I'm sorry I haven't gotten you my progress photos in 6 weeks. I promise they're coming.
Like I promise you, I've actually been really showing up, and I think about you every single day. But like, I just haven't gone on here to like tell you that.
So true. Yeah,
it's so true. That's why like being at more in the app, having like kind of like checklists and stuff like that helps so much. So
100%.
Well, let's go into, because we're already at an hour. Wow, it's crazy.
If you're still here, you're really here for it.
Honestly, this is such a good, this is probably one of the most informative podcasts that I've had. I think that this is something that needs to be talked about more, and that's just so, it's just so incredible. So let's go into actually I guess before and after, like after you balanced everything out and you started having a consistent period, what did that look like? What did that feel like? What did that feel like for you? What was the night and day difference from your everyday life?
Yeah, so when I first started cycling regularly, it was uncomfortable. Like I was PMSing really bad, and now I can always tell the day before I'll cry over something so dumb. Like so dumb. And then my period starts the next day and I'm like, that was it. That's why I cried over something left in the sink last night. Like something so dumb. Or I'll get mad at something. And so it's really beautiful. Like we tell girls this all the time. Your PMS symptoms will drastically change the healthier you get.
Yes.
They will not always go away. I don't ever want to give someone the impression that you may not ever cramp or you may not ever have back pain.
But I will say a stressful month causes, you will notice like if a month was very smooth and very, like me, I have horrific back pain during like right before my period. Only if I was really stressed. But if I had a month that was kind of cool breeze. And it's a pretty smooth, pain-free period.
Yeah. So I will say that was a huge thing of like really learning how to watch as my cycles got closer to like the 28 days, and as I listened to my body more, now cycling regularly and actually ovulating every month, I don't really notice. I was someone that worked out differently for every stage of my cycle for a long time because I had to. I didn't have energy at certain times. I was super strong at certain times. I was really bloated at certain, like I would plan trips with my husband at certain points of my cycle because I knew I'll be not a nice person if we go in 2 weeks, or I just won't like the way I look. I won't feel comfortable going and taking pictures somewhere fun. So I literally planned my life around my cycle, and now I don't do that at all.
That's incredible.
But so if you're in that season, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I talk with my girls all the time that some of you are going to have to, and some of you will never even ever even think about changing your workout plan around your cycle.
Because we don't want to give this like false narrative. It's like it's easy to be consistent in the things that manage, and like basically you can still have a consistent period, but something that just really pours into your body where it's like quote unquote the best, healthiest way you could have showed up for yourself and your hormones and everything. Because stress can be mental. It can be something that is caused onto you for family matters or like work matters or whatever. And you are human. Like it's going to happen.
Not a robot.
You're not a robot. Sometimes your sleep gets messed up, and now you have physical stress on your body because you haven't really recovered from your workouts the way that you would have liked to. It could be for so many different things, but just in general. And also sometimes maybe it just ended up having 1 week where you just didn't show for yourself. You didn't you do the grocery store, and it kind of turned into this, one day we didn't show for the grocery store, but it got so busy, so chaotic that I didn't get to the grocery store till Thursday, but I ate, probably meals I normally wouldn't have ate.
Yeah.
And so like it just happens. And so it's not every month is it going to always be perfect. Right. And you're going to deal with inflammation sometimes. You're going to deal with pain, like cramping or whatever. And sometimes you, especially if you like PCOS and you get cysts, like me, I have months where I still have that situation where I have a cyst that probably, like, because obviously I had a little baby cyst, in January or whenever I got whatever it was. And that just tells me those months where I'm stressed during my ovulation, I know there's a difference. I can tell when I've had a successful ovulation or if I had one that didn't finish the route.
Once you lean in and listen, you can't unhear your body after that. Once you figure it out and you really slow down enough to listen, it's so blaringly obvious what your body's trying to tell you.
Well, yeah, and that's just how our bodies were created, how it's designed. Like if we just, it's honestly anything in life, we just sit in stillness and we listen and we just pay attention and we become very self-aware.
Yes.
You will understand
so much.
So many things because your body tells you. And it's not your whole entire life is not supposed to feel like a puzzle.
No.
You're not supposed to be so confused by your body, but like we listen to everything else outside of just like our body. Just like listen to your body. Obviously, I'm very glad that you're listening to this podcast, but listen to this body and become very educated on why something might be coming from something else or what could... Was it a super stressful week this week? How did your body feel? What was something that happened? I think it's super important.
And really watching what you consume, like the food you're consuming, the liquids you're consuming, the media you're consuming. I had multiple social media detoxes in that season where I just got off social media as a whole because I knew I would get too consumed by all the things I was missing out on or all the things that I wish I had or any of the stuff that, all the silliness that you compare on social media. Even if you say you don't compare, there's at least one page you follow that you check every day. You want to know what they're doing, right? And I love social media. I think there's some beautiful attributes of it, but it can be all consuming if you're in a really tough season. So
we definitely are crunching on time. So I think we're going to have another episode where we kind of go into your pregnancy journey.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about postpartum, what you did to help you through postpartum and to avoid postpartum depression as much as you possibly can. Also, maybe some experiences, because being a coach, of course, we've coached so many people through postpartum. And so I think there's a lot that we can talk about in that season of life and what you would recommend. So we'll have another episode with Bri on that. But what I want to end this episode on is, how do you feel like this has played a role in you as a coach, your mission, your why, and we'll go from there.
Honestly, it pushed me into being a coach. So I was set to go to pharmacy school. I'd gotten accepted into a program that I would have gotten my PharmD and my MBA. I really wanted to own a compounding pharmacist. That was always my goal, or be a compounding pharmacist. And this whole season of life, I deferred my acceptance. I needed some time to figure out what was going on with my body. And I had a friend who was a trainer. I'd always been an athlete. I just kind of stumbled into it. And so truly this journey, I mean, completely changed the trajectory of my life. 21-year-old me would be so proud of where I am now. Also, like, shocked that I'm married with a kid. I have a guard. Like, there's so many things about my life that my 21-year-old self would literally be rolling her eyes at. But this is something that's so relatable. Like, you as a client, your journey might look different than mine, but the sucky middle is the exact same. The trusting your body is the exact same. The listening to your coach, when you know deep down she's probably telling to help you, but you're like, I do not want to hear what she's having to say. I've been there. And I think coaches that haven't gone through a hard journey don't get that. I get a lot of clients that originally, when they see me, think, I don't want a girl who's never lost weight because she's not going to understand the journey. And then they start working with me and they're like, nah, Bree's got me, right? Because I've been through the hard, even though it wasn't a weight loss hard. So I do think that when you've been through, I've heard that said time and time again, like, your mess becomes your message. When you've been through something hard, you can always help someone else through it. And if you haven't walked that walk, you just don't have those points yet to help them with. You can't catch those little things like, oh, you're about to fall, let me help you first, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy because, like, it's not just like you have this experience and you've been in the health and fitness space for so long, you've done the extremes, you've slowed down, you went through some insane journeys, but it's also your heart. It's who you are as a person is just rare. And so, like, I understand, because I remember telling you one time, like, I think I never had a coach because, like, at the time, there was not people who were like me that had programs where they lost a lot of weight and, like, suffered with, like, you know, binge eating and all these things. And so I never thought about getting a coach because I'm like, just like you said, immediately, like, she's not going to get me. But it's also not just a you thing. I think from a standpoint of being someone that struggled with their weight, it was like I struggled with understanding my own brain. I didn't understand why I was so consumed every day about food and why, like, I struggled so much to committing to something that I wanted so bad. And so it's more of this, like, sense of confession to someone that I feel like would almost be like, girl, that's embarrassing.
She's crazy.
She's crazy. What does that even mean? And making me feel icky about it. But when you became a coach for my team, the way that not only did your clients see the most insane results, but the way that you made them feel, the way that you made them feel seen, and the way that you have became the biggest person in the Get Fit With Mer program, because Bree has coached every single one of the assistant coaches also in the program. She is also someone that trains the person that you get on the phone with. So any person that you're associating with or talking with has basically been breastfed by Bree.
Let me help bring them along.
She's like mother, okay? Like, but it is just incredible, and it's just such a blessing too, because my whole purpose, my whole mission about this journey was that it wasn't just getting someone to lose weight, it was ensuring that they stayed there. And it obviously isn't just the way that you go about your weight loss journey to lose weight, which is such a concept you hear all over online. It's like, oh, you just need to lose it slow, and oh, you just need to do this, and then that's what creates it sustainable. No, it's understanding your body in a way that is so, I don't even know, in depth, where it's like hormonally, gut health, your cortisol, like learning how to, your mind, like the way that your mindset, everything, like it literally is everything. And so the holistic side of things, because that's essentially what it is, mind, body, spirit, everything. It's like holistic health, essentially. And that was my whole goal, because I knew that's what it took to not just lose weight and go on this incredibly difficult journey, but to stay at this, like, maintain it. And so you coming in and becoming like the girl, the like head of all of my program, and also having just like that fire for holistic health, the experience in holistic health is incredible. And it's just like, I literally don't know what I would do without her. I just freaking love her so much. She like talks about sometimes like working for me and how big of a blessing it is. I'm just like, that's crazy, because I'm just literally like, bro, I need you. Like, I'll do anything for you, bro.
We're both thankful.
We both just like love each other. I'm just like, I'm obsessed with you.
Sorry, Steve. Sorry, Brandon.
But now, as we close, what would you say to someone that's actively going through, this struggle? Like they're struggling with their balancing out their cycles. Maybe they have found out that or have been told that they might not have the ability to have children. They're dealing with infertility. Just what would you say to that person, and how would you encourage them?
So this will have a couple different parts. If you're in this, I think you're going to laugh on this. The attitude of gratitude will forever be the biggest blessing in your life. And it sounds hokey and it sounds silly, but if you truly trust it's going to get better and you put in the work, you invest in your health with your time, your resources, you've got to find a provider, like be your biggest advocate, find a coach, find someone that's going to push you in a really healthy way. And don't be scared about investing in that with your time, with your finances. I mean, even if you have to go get a second job, right? Like there are things that didn't make any sense at the time, but I knew if I don't make any change, nothing's changing. And I don't like where this is going. And being your advocate for that, like there were so many times that doctors didn't agree with me, my parents didn't agree with me, my friends and family thought I was crazy, and just trusting that yourself best, when something feels right and something feels wrong, and then don't be afraid to jump in when you find something that doesn't make any sense at all, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to cover this or how I'm going to figure out how to do this. That would be my biggest thing, is truly trust that it's going to work out in the best, and when you find something that really aligns with how you can fix it and where you're going, go for it. Yeah,
that is so good. It's so fire. I freaking love you. I feel like this is such a powerful podcast. Sorry, my fridge is like, excuse me, sorry. Like, okay, wait, hold on. The fridge is like, pop off, queen. Yeah. Okay, bye. But for all the why does it always do that? Like, I don't know why it freaks me out. Sometimes it does like clicking things on there. Anyways.
I did hear that earlier.
Right? I'm like, ew, I think someone's hacked my fridge and they'd be like low-key stalking me, but I don't know. But they'd like see me open up the fridge and eat every single day. Like, dang, she got it again. Bill number 7.
Yeah.
But no, for real, I'm so happy that you came. Bree's obviously going to come back, and we're going to talk about there's so much more to this story. I mean, I've known Bree for so long, but every time I hear you talk about your, story and your journey and everything else, I'm just like, this is insane. It blows my mind every single time, but I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for being you, and thank you for sharing your testimony with us. So thank you guys for also listening to us. Yeah. We love y'all. Anything that y'all would like to share to Bree, comment below. Just anything that y'all want to learn more about, maybe as we bring her on the next time. Yeah. Anything that you really enjoyed or like learned in this podcast, definitely let us know, because the more that we know that y'all are like, oh wow, that connected some dots for me, or oh dang, that's insane, I've never heard that. Like the more that we know that, the more that I'm able to make more podcasts about this, and also it could also help me and Bree know more things that we can include even within the program too with our clients, because so many people, one person feels a certain way, I'm telling you there's hundreds of people, thousands of people that also probably feel the exact same way too. So I love y'all. I'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.